edition, Wednesday edition of Crafting and Crime Daily, the show where I recap live trials. I'm currently covering the trial of Cara Rintala for the murder of her wife, Anna Marie Rintala. And the more I hear, the more I'm thinking, I don't know if she did this. I don't know. Which could explain why this is the fourth trial this woman has had. The first two trials ended with a jury that could also not decide whether she was unanimously, they couldn't decide one way or the other, guilty or not guilty. And so they were declared mistrials. The third trial, she was found guilty. It was overturned because a paint expert gave an opinion that was really not a proper opinion. And so now they're doing it for a fourth time without the paint expert. I need some coffee for this one, right? All right, I finished the event Time and Painting. Yes. The event was The Great Escape 2023. It's still going on to the end of the month. All you have to do is finish 50% of your painting to be eligible for the grand prize, which is Dreamer Designs. They're donating gift cards. Oh my God. Really good deal. Doesn't pay for the Dreamer Design that I ordered yesterday. I know my sister watches this. Anyhow, I finished the event painting, and the theme of this was landscape, fantasy landscape, someplace you'd like to go that doesn't really exist. And I wanted to go to Fairytown. Isn't that beautiful? It turned out so gorgeous. I had some concerns at the beginning because a lot of confetti, a lot, 60 colors plus some that I added in. Yeah, lots of work. So haven't decided what I'm going to do with it yet. But right now we're just going to put it right there. And I've got all the stuff out for my next gnome, crochet gnome. I'm doing a corner-to-corner crochet gnome blanket at Grafgan. And I've got 14 squares done, a bunch more to do. I'm doing this one right here. I'm going to make the background this really pretty camel, shimmery, shiny color. It's got sparkles in it, really pretty. But lots of colors, 9 different colors here. Actually 10 if you count the stem of the pumpkin. I don't know that I'm going to do it. It's in like a dark maroon. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I have a little time to decide before I get there. Okay, so I'm going to be working on that, and I'm going to tell you what happened yesterday in this Cara Rintala trial. So, the first guy they had it on the stand, was it yesterday? I'm so lost. Yesterday. So this guy takes the stand, and he is the cell phone expert. So he was asked to analyze the cell phones of Cara and Anna Marie. Nobody else. Not this Mark Olasak, who I'm thinking comes into play here. You're going to hear a lot about this Mark guy. This is who the defense is saying probably really did it. I don't know. So I'm going to talk to you about the cell phone activity, and I'm going to show you some slides as I talk about it. So the first slide, this is from all the phone calls on Anna's. The first column is Anne's phone. The second column is the time, and the third column is Cara's phone, activity on Cara's phone. So the first activity from 8 a.m. till 8 p.m., the day that Cara allegedly murdered Anne Marie, the first phone call between that time period is at 8:08 p.m. when Anne calls Mark Olasak. And it's a 30-second phone call, 31 seconds. So the judge is allowing the jury to kind of, make up their own minds as to whether that was really a call, or was it a hang up, or was it just an attempt to call and he didn't answer, 30 seconds. Probably didn't answer the phone. So she gets a text from Olasak at 8:14. So, 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, she gets a text. And it says, I just woke up, can't talk on the phone. I'm home today, but at FD, fire department, tomorrow. I'm going to therapy at 10. I can call you then, but I know Kara's home, so call me tomorrow. I love you. What? She's having an affair. Yeah. More about that later. What? I thought you liked women. Well, maybe she was bi. I don't know. Okay, next cell phone activity. She receives a text from Olasek at 4 minutes later, 4 minutes after the first one. And he says, is something wrong? And she texts him back at 8:20 and says, no, just chat. At 8:21, he says, I will call you at 9:30. 8:21, she says, K, meaning, okay. 8:27, she asked him, can you skip therapy? Interesting. And at 8:56, he says, no, I'll call you in a bit. 8:57, she says, K. 9:05, she sends a multimedia text to her mom and dad saying the Easter Bunny was spotted at the Holyoke Mall yesterday with a picture. So she had taken a picture of Brianna and sent it to her mom and dad. At 9:17, she received a call from her mom, and that call lasted 3 minutes and 13 seconds. Then, and this all just kind of goes to show you how much used her phone. Like boom, boom, boom. She's always on her phone. I don't know how she's getting any work done. Well, by then she's off work. She had worked the night before. So this is that morning. She gets off at 8 a.m. This is after that. Okay. She's off texting fool. My goodness. So she receives a call from Olasek at 9:34 a.m. That's 13 seconds. So apparently she didn't pick it up. She calls him back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times in the next minute just to try to get through to him. And all those calls are 17 seconds or less. So she doesn't get through to him. Then at 9:39 a.m., she calls her dad. That's a 7-second call, so she doesn't get through to him. Her dad calls her back at 9:40 a.m., and that call is for 15 seconds, so she doesn't pick up that call. Yeah, so she missed calls to and from dad. Then at 9:40, she texts Mark Olasak, call ASAP. And Mark calls her back at 9:40, 15 seconds later. He calls her back. It's a 9-minute and 20-second phone call. Then, during that phone call, well, 9 minutes into that phone call, she gets a phone call from Kara. So that's where she hangs up with Mark. And she takes the call from Anne, and that call lasts 38 seconds. So it looks like she ended the call with Olasak, but I'm not sure she took the call from Kara because it was only a 38-second call. So I don't know. So then at 9:50 a.m., Kara receives a call from the Ludlow Fire Department, which is 8 seconds. She again calls Anne for 7 seconds at 9:50. No response. Anne calls Olasak at 9:50 a.m. and has 4 minutes and 50-second phone call. So it appears Anne is ignoring the phone calls from Kara. I don't know where Kara is. Right? I don't know where Anne is because Anne was at work. Maybe she's not home yet from work. She gets off at 8. So she actually calls Kara back at 9:55 and then again at 9:59. And then looks like she finally gets a hold of her at 10:03. And there's a 56-second phone call. Then Kara calls someone named Charity, has a couple of minute phone call at 10:30. Anne calls her Aunt Nancy at 10:34. That's a 30-second phone call. She receives a text from Mark Olasek at 10:34 a.m. that says, call me. So she calls him back at 10:36 a.m. Then she misses a call from her dad at 10:37 a.m. She calls him back at 10:39 and talks for 1 minute and 40 seconds. Then she calls 611, which is her cell phone carrier, and has a 15-minute and 25-second call at 10:40 a.m. Then she calls her dad back at 2 minutes and 38 seconds at 10:56 a.m. Then at 11:02 a.m., she texts her aunt Nancy, "Hey, sleepy head, pouring rain here. They say 6 inches of rain over 3 days with heavy flooding, 80 by Saturday. Really nice for Easter. UPS has a delivery for you today." That's at 11:02 a.m. So she's just constantly on her phone. Then she texts Aunt Nancy back. Also, Precious was insane. Thank you. Thank God Brianna came to us. Precious was insane. I don't know if that's what she calls her daughter. Precious? No. That's at 11:03. Then she texts Mark Olasek, "Can you please go Saturday at 6 a for me? I will get there about 8:25 with a coffee and a big kiss and your Easter prize." Ooh, what's his prize? I don't know. Then she receives a text from Olsek at 11:05 going, "Easter prize?" He's intrigued. Then she texts him, "Yes, it's not much, but thoughtful. And best of all, I made it. I want you to put in your home. So come up with a story. You won a raffle." Okay. "Here, I crocheted you a hat. Just say you won it in a raffle." But maybe she's a crafter. Crafter. Anyway, cell phone. Okay. Then Anne receives a text from Olsek at 11:11 saying, "How big of a kiss?" And she texts him back and she says, "The earlier you wait, the bigger." He texts her back and says, "I don't know. I'll try, but I can't promise anything." And then she texts him and says, "You always promise me. I promise a big kiss." At 11:22, he texts her back, "I'll try to make up something, but I don't want to be suspicious. Also, I'm coming over Friday night. How about that?" Woohoo. Receives a text. She receives another text from him. If I can, it's going to be a big long kiss because I love you." He's in love with her. At 11:29 a.m., she texts him a smiley face. And then she texts him again at 11:30. "Saturday kiss, so I can't bail on me. I need insurance." Then at 11:30, she takes a couple of pictures of Brianna on her phone. And then she receives another text from Mark Olsek. He says he's coming over Friday night at 8. Okay. I think Kara had to work that Friday night. So they were making plans for when Kara would be at work. So she texts him back. She goes, "No, because then you won't wait Saturday. You can come over next Friday or Saturday after the wait." And then she receives another text from him. "Kara isn't working next Friday night. That's why I'm coming this Friday. I will try, but it's going to be real hard. I'm home. Call me when you leave AMR tomorrow morning. Love you." Then she texts him back and says, "K." He texts her back at 11:46 and says, "Keep your phone on you today. I may call you later." She says, "Okay." Then she calls Aunt Nancy at 12:21 p.m. That was a 32-second call. No more activity on her phone. That is the last activity on her phone that was initiated or responded to by her. Because you can tell when somebody reads a text. So all of the texts that were sent to her by Mark or her aunt or her dad or whatever, they were all read. "Stitch, what are you doing? Stitch, buddy, come here. Are you are you bored? Stitch." He's trying to get into something. "Stitch, what's going on, buddy?" "Meow. I know, you're bored. Hi, baby. Hi." "You're a silly baby. Yes, you are. Ah, yeah." Oh, now he's playing with the rug. Okay. So at 1:27 p.m., Kara misses a call from a phone number, and I don't know that they identified who the phone number was. Then Anne receives a text from Mark Olsek at 1:53 that she did not read that says, "My sis just called. She has cancer. I'm really sad." She doesn't respond to that text. Then at 3:49, Kara says, Kara misses a call from Ludlow Fire Department at 4:48 p.m. She texts Anne, "You still sleep?" And then Anne receives a text from Olsek. I read that one already. So Kara calls Anne, she misses a call from the Ludlow Fire Department at 3:49. At 4:48, she texts Anne, "You still sleep?" At 4:49 p.m., she texts Anne, "Hi, nice rain. You working?" 4:52, she texts Anne, sorry is this is waking you last night and all, but still out in Holyoke, you want Red Robin." And then at 5 p.m., she texts Anne, "Okay, back at mall again, no stroller." Then at 5:18, she texts Anne, "Hello, you see what time it is. Call me. Bree wants to eat. I want Red Robin." 5:40 p.m., she texts Anne, "Okay, so you still mad about Mike? Doesn't mean you can't text me back. We're on our way. Don't want to eat without you." 5:50, she calls Anne. There's no answer, and she leaves a voicemail that's unintelligible. That's 40 seconds. At 5:52, she calls Anne, leaves another voicemail. At 5:55, she calls Anne and leaves another voicemail. Both are over a minute long. And then at 6:07, she calls someone named Sandy for a minute. She misses another call from the Ludlow Fire Department at 6:42 p.m. She also at 6:42 p.m. calls Anne, no answer. She leaves another voicemail. 6:48 p.m. texts Anne, "What's up with you? Why not call? If not for me, then at least Bree." Bree? You the one who said since she's not napping, go out. You mad? Yes, we late, but Massey's here. I don't know what that means. I think she's referring to the macaroni and cheese. Mackey's, Maccees. I think she's talking about macaroni and cheese. She had stopped at Burger King to get her macaroni and cheese. Okay. 68. And she calls Anne. No answer. She leaves another voicemail. 7:39 p.m. She calls someone named Sandy and talks to her for 2 minutes and 35 seconds. So it is after that she finds the body of, well, after the 6:58 voicemail, she goes into the house and finds the body of her wife, Anne. So Anne, you like to use this telephone a lot, a lot. So then they held up all the cell phone activity from 8 p.m. after the murder till 8 a.m. the next day. And Anne calls somebody named Lucy Cochran, Roy, and Barb DuPauls. She receives another call. She calls Sandy. Anne also receives a text from Mark Olchek. It says, "Call me when you're on your way home." That was at 8:15 p.m. Now, he deleted that message from his phone, but it was still on Anne's phone. Carol receives a call from a guy named Chucky, and that's it. Yeah, interesting. So when was she murdered? After 12:21, somewhere. I'm saying between 12:21 and looks like 1:27. Or when does she get on the phone again? This is a call from Lofa texting. 4:48 p.m. So between 12:21 p.m. and 4:48 p.m. Yeah. So another officer gets involved. They call another of the state police officers in to come and do an interview with Anne. So this woman is also now retired. So they had all the attorneys in the case had worked on the redactions for the interview. We finally get to see the interview, and it is very, very difficult to hear. It's 2.5 hours. What do you want? Meow, what? Hold on. You must go outside, right? Say, lady, you're slacking on the job here. Get me outside. There you go. That cat. So this, she asked Kara, you want to come? I want to do an interview with you. I want to talk to you, and we can do it here. We can do it down the police station. She's like, oh, I'll come with you down the police station. So she comes voluntarily. She's not read her Miranda rights. So now the judge is asked to determine whether this statement was freely and voluntarily given. And later on, he does determine that, yes, she freely and voluntarily gave this statement. So whatever for the Miranda rights. Anyway, so she sits down with this woman. They go to the local police station. This not where this woman works because she works for the state police, but she goes there. She's escorted to a interview room, and she starts not really. It's more of a conversation at first, and Anne is clear. Or I keep saying Anne. Kara is clearly upset whenever she's recalling, finding Anne's body. She's upset. She recalled that she found her face down and that she wanted to turn her over. So it took her a great deal of effort, but she finally got her turned over, and that's how she ended up underneath of her. She talked about she had tripped over the vacuum, and that might be how her shoes came off. She was wearing some clogs, so they would come off very easily. Then her socks got soaked with the paint, and so every time she's talking about this, the actual finding of Anne's body, she's, boohooing. However, I never saw any tears. See, but that maybe it's just me because when I cry, I ugly cry. Like I go through a box of tissues and snot coming out, and I'm red faced. Not this woman. Mm-mm. No tears, no hanky, no snot, no red face. Just she's just upset. And she spends most of this interview, and I don't know if this would be my reaction if I found my spouse dead on the floor. I don't know if I would be spending an hour of an interview talking about how much my husband had done wrong. She talks about how she ran up the bills and she ran up the credit cards and she drained Bree's bank account that they were saving for her future, and that she, without telling her, she took $25,000 out of Kara's retirement. She borrowed it out of Kara's retirement fund and didn't tell Kara. So when Kara found out, she said, hey, what's the deal? She was like, I was paying off my student loan. So Kara said, okay, she's paying off her student loan. So, but she kept saying, I don't want to talk bad about her. I don't want to, but she went on and on and on about everything that was bad about Anne Marie, including the fact that she came from a family environment where everybody's yelling and hollering and arguing all the time, and that this was the way she was raised, and this is how she approached life. She constantly on her cell phone, constantly arguing with people, and they were trying to work on their marriage. They were trying to work on a different way of communicating. And so this one finally asked her, what do you think happened? What do you think happened? And she's, oh, I don't know. I don't know. At some point, Mark Olasek's name does come up during this interview. And she says, oh, no, this is somebody she dated once and they're not together anymore. Yes, they are. Apparently they are. So, or they were. Anyway, she said, so she asked her again, well, what do you think happened? She goes, I think she might have fell down the stairs. which would make sense. That might explain the blunt force trauma to her head, scalp down all the way to the scalp. But she was lying face down. I don't know that you would have fallen the way she had landed the way she did. Or I don't know, she didn't stick the landing. I don't know. But anyway, that's a terrible gymnastic joke. Never mind. Um, Inappropriate, Rebecca. Okay. Then she talked about the paint. Why did you have the paint in the garage? Where was the paint? Well, we had it in a few different places. I had been saying that we were going to paint that kitchen for months. She goes, well, it's pink paint, and she goes, no, 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 it's not pink. It's ceiling paint. And so Kara went on to explain, this paint dries. It's pink, so you can know where you're putting it on, and then it dries white. And I had been saying that we were going to do it for months, and we just hadn't done it. But Anne likes to paint. She's painted the whole house. I don't really care for painting. Anne's the painter, not me. So no real explanation about the paint. We used to keep it here, and then we kept it here, and then we kept it over here, and yeah. So then she asked her what was in the garage. She told her they did the laundry down in the garage. Here's one thing I was confused about. She said that when she gets home from work, she gets off at 8 a.m. So when did she get home from work? Was it that lunchtime? I think they had lunch together. So it was lunchtime. So 12:21, that's the last thing on her phone. But assuming they had lunch together anyway, she says that when their routine is that when they get home from work, and as a healthcare provider, I would have done the same thing. When you get home from work, you take your clothes off and you wash them. You put them in the laundry and you put on fresh clothes because you don't know what you're bringing home. So that was their routine. Now, when she was found, she was in like scrub pants that she said that's what she wore as pajamas. She was in a bra and these scrub pants. Well, what do you think she might have been doing down in the basement? I don't know. Maybe laundry? I don't know. I don't know. So 2.5 hours this went on. 2.5. Anyway, at some point, Kara says, I'm very tired. I'm very sad. I want to go home now. And they told her you can't go home, because they're getting a search warrant and they got to search the house and they got to process the crime scene, and so you can't go home. Is there somebody that you can stay with? And she's like, I don't know. So they eventually just take her back to the house. I don't know who she ended up spending the night with, but she ended up coming back the next day and asking for this same officer because she wanted to speak with her again. And so that's another interview that I have to sit and listen to. And I'll tell you what happens in that interview. I know it starts out with her boohooing, boohooing with no tears. That would be cool. I wish I could boohoo with no tears, man. That's one of the reasons I try not to cry because it's such an ugly cry. Oh my God. Oh yeah, you can tell when I've been crying. There's no hiding that. So one of the things, I wrote a few things down. She said she felt bullied in her own home by Anne Marie. She said a few times that her body was very cold. What else? Tripped over the vacuum cleaner. I think that's kind of those were my takeaways from that interview. I didn't get a sense of her guilt or innocence as a result of this interview. I just didn't. Although I thought it was strange that someone, your spouse just dies, you find them dead, and then you're going to sit and talk about all the terrible things that they were happening with her during the marriage, like why you guys were fighting all the time. That's what your thought goes to. Wouldn't you be thinking of the good times that you had? I really loved him. I really loved her. You know, I just thought it was strange. That's just me. Okay, guys, that's the show for today. Tonight is Craft With Me Wednesday. Be doing the yarn thing, making another gnome. Yep. So I will hope to see you then. That is at 7 Central Time, right back here on the channel. And don't forget to subscribe. It's free. Yeah, I don't charge you a thing for subscribing. I'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Ditch, what are you doing?